Hey, what's going on, everybody? Like, thank you all for tuning into the show. Got my crew with me, Darnell and Tyler. I'm Trey, and we are coming your way with the 42nd edition of the Don't Kill the Messengers podcast. First thing we're about to get into today is the NBA. Been a pretty good week so far, just to start the season off. What were you guys' thoughts on that Golden State Spurs game that happened? Season opener.
Spurs sent a message saying that they're not dead and gone. They're still an elite team, and they can still lay a hammer. And they did a good job in building a better team from last year. I mean, they lost Duncan, who wasn't himself for that last season, and gained perennial All-Star in Powell. And they got significantly better from last year.
I got a question. Real quick, Tyler, do you have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, I think a lot of people expected Golden State to still try and find themselves. Cleveland went through it last year, or two years ago, and so really it's just the idea that when you get these big teams together, you have to reformulate the way you're playing the game because you have to readjust to the new weapon you've added. So, I mean, I think the offense flowed pretty well in terms of Golden State. They distributed the scoring kind of like I thought they would. Curry and Durant led the way. Thompson was not too far behind. So, I mean, really, I think we got what we expected out of Golden State, except the win. But San Antonio showed that they're going to play them tough every time. It doesn't matter if it's the first game of the season or the last. They know all 82 games count. Nobody knows that more than, the Spurs and Popovich. So, like Darnell said, they sent a message. They played great, put up a lot of points, which we're not exactly used to seeing out of the Spurs. We're used to seeing them play some more lockdown D and slow other teams down. But, they came out firing. Kawhi Leonard, great first game of the year. LaMarcus Aldridge followed up as well. It'll be great watching those two kind of become the new faces of that franchise.
Yeah. Now the question I would like to ask you guys, first of all, that was just game one of a long season. So teams are still going to get better, still going to get chemistry and everything like that. But just looking at this Durant Durant free agency pickup for the Golden State Warriors, they had to change a lot on their team. They had 7 new players on their team. Just looking at this team, do you think overall they improved better last year with this pickup? They got Durant. I understand that, he's going to help them score, but do you think they improve with rebounding, defensive-wise, just all other aspects of the game, just trying to go after and get Durant during the free agency because they lost some other key players on their team, too, in order to pick them up?
I mean, I think it's a net positive. Like, I do think they're a more dangerous team. They're more built to win a championship. Like, Durant's not a bad defensive player himself. Yeah. They still they did try to make some moves to help themselves on the interior, but I mean we just have to see how they gel as a defensive team going into that late season. But I don't think you can possibly say they didn't make themselves more dangerous by getting another player the caliber of Kevin Durant.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree there. I mean, you're adding a guy with, a wingspan over 7 foot to play defense. I mean, I don't know any team that would say no to that. You already have Draymond Green, an elite defender, first team all defense, defensive player of the year candidate again. The idea that Klay Thompson plays above average defense, Curry plays average defense, and I would say Durant plays above average defense. So really they upgraded the defense in their lineup while upgrading the offense. So like Darnell said, net positive, but some areas you look at the negatives, in my opinion, they lost depth. You lose a player like Maurice Spates, Bogut. Granted, exchanging
Bogut. You saw
Bogut,
that especially, with that game because the Spurs bench was just killing them.
Yeah, I mean,
their bench. So.
Yeah, now to be fair, the Spurs had a player off the bench just go nuts.
Yeah.
So that probably won't happen again. But Pachulia and Bogut, you're kind of getting a wash there. You'll get a little more out of Bogut than you would Pachulia, I think, just because of the age difference. Bogut's a younger player. But, like I said, off the bench, you're bringing off Iggy, who solid player still. He'll offer what you expect him to offer most nights. And then David West, who will be a nice little addition. But other than those two players off the bench, I don't think we're Livingston's still on the team. So those three players coming off the bench are the only ones you're going to expect to do absolutely anything. So if anyone gets into foul trouble, you're going to just reconfigure that starting lineup basically and figure out how you can keep that one player in foul trouble out of it. Like, you can have Durant handle the ball. Thompson can handle the ball. Green can handle the ball. So really that starting lineup is its own depth. And adding Durant to that, like Darnell said, just makes him more dangerous. So positive, yes, but there are some negatives that could come into play if injuries hit this team, especially a little later in the year, but they'll probably have such a big lead in the West Conference, or a big enough lead to where not having all five in the starting lineup won't necessarily hurt them that much.
Yeah. Just one key thing, real quick, the one key thing that I see that really helps them, Golden State, if they make it to the finals, which everybody basically has them doing right now. Steph Curry, he has been playing, just based on his finals performance, he has not been playing up to par. If you look at it, 2 times he was in the finals. So one thing that I say this really helps him, if he can't, get the rock and score or anything like that, he has another beast he can look forward to on that team as well to help carry the load in Kevin Durant. So that's just one big plus that I think will come out and help them, because just looking at his offensive stats in the finals, he definitely wasn't playing up to par. I know some people believe, with the injury, his knee was bothering him last season, but before that, he still wasn't playing that well. So Durant can really help carry the load if that was to happen again this year.
Yeah. And this is a team that's built for the finals, I think. This team got put together for a playoff run. The regular season is basically for them to figure out rotations, figure out how to play together, figure out defensive schemes, figure out matchups, situational type stuff. So once it gets to that postseason, hopefully they'll be unstoppable. I'm pretty sure that's what front office and Steve Kerr, that's how they're looking at this team. I don't think they
ain't preaching to go for their record, man.
No, I don't think, because I think that's what got him in trouble last year. Bringing Steph back too early, trying to push the issue to get to 73 wins. I just think that's part of the downfall. Steph wasn't himself through the whole playoffs. They rushed him back even in the second round last year, and it gave them a little bit of an excuse for why he wasn't good in the finals. I still think he's the best player in that team. He should have showed up more. But you could say ankle or knee, something was bothering him. Some of the same for 2 years ago as well. But like you said, Trey, he's had 2 straight finals where he wasn't himself. So I think that was probably something else they were looking at. Let's get another top 5 player that if Steph falls apart again in the finals, we have another guy that's capable of scoring 40.
Yeah, I'll even take that a step further, saying they worried too much about the record last year. I think it's a given that they're in the playoffs. But taking it a step further, I would even, as much as they would like to be the number 1 seed in the West, I don't think they're going to be so much focused on that as they will be getting in there and then just winning the games. Like, who cares at that point? If you don't have them as the 1 or the 2 seed, I'll then start to question your method. But 1 or 2 seed at this point, I think they know if they get into the playoffs in the position they want to be in, 1 seed, 2 seed won't matter because they should get to the finals with that lineup, no problem. Unless the Spurs keep up this 129 points a game here.
Yeah.
then there might be some questioning going on whether they're a shoo-in for the finals. But like Darnell said, when the record gets in the way, that's your focus is the record, not necessarily your play. So I think at this point, 1 seed, 2 seed, they'll talk like they want the 1 seed because that's what you want to hear out of them. But I don't know that that's necessarily going to be number 1 on their list this year.
All right, guys. Now, LeBron James, he made some comments this week talking about players joining teams to come and beat him. What were your thoughts on this when you first heard it?
Well, you want to give a little taste of what the comments were?
Yeah. 1 second.
Yeah, he said.
What he said was, that teams get together to try to beat me.
Yeah.
I know teams switch and pick up new coaches or new players, and their whole goal is kind of they want to beat me. It's never just about me, but I always hear them saying, we got to beat LeBron. It's not just me on the court, but I understand the teams get together in this conference and across the league to try to beat me.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw my comments that when Trey sent an out text, but I was like, wait a minute. I recall you got together with a couple of your buddies to win the title. It's kind of like, it's almost a contradictory comment. It's like you're accusing other people of what you did.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a problem with him saying it because in reality, it's kind of true. Once he went to Miami, that kind of opened the floodgates for everyone to attempt the same thing.
But real quick, Ty, let me add, if you look at those finals, every finals that he lost, it wasn't a team that got together during free agency or anything like that. Golden State, that was by, draft picks and guys earning it, and so was San Antonio, the times they beat them too. So
hey, and I understand that, but I guess what my point is you're gonna go out, create a super team, win the title, and then say, well, I know everybody's doing it just to beat me. It's kind of like, dude, you needed to do it first.
Yeah.
It's like, I understand it all, but it just kind of feels like a very out of place comment.
Yeah.
Didn't really need to be said.
I agree with you. It does. It's kind of funny coming from him just because, one of the big issues everybody's had with LeBron as of late was you left Cleveland so you could build a super team, so you could get a ring, so you could get past Boston and get your ring.
Yeah.
But you have to look at it on the other side. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, teams are putting their teams together to beat that team in Cleveland. He's on the top of the mountain right now. Guy's been to 7 straight finals now or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, yeah, people are putting their teams together to get past LeBron. I mean, whatever team he goes on, he's the best player. So that's just the thought process. It's ridiculous. It's crazy having it come from him because of his history, but
yeah. Now, any other comments to add to this, guys?
Yeah, just real quick, like agreeing with you there, Darnell. Like since day one, LeBron's kind of had the target on his back, but no one really took him super serious until he lost the first 2 finals. And the first finals he lost was just kind of like, okay, whatever, he'll get back. And then lost the one with Miami, and then everybody loved that he was losing. So I mean, he's kind of always had the target on his back. But I guess if you're going to make the comment, the best time to make it's after you won the championship. So
yeah.
Better there than if he lost, then he just looks like a really sore loser.
Yeah, a little bit of Kevlar on him since he actually has the ring to say it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, now who are you guys' top 5 players in the league this year, based on your opinion?
Ooh. Just opinion, like, are we gonna talk like who you think are the best players, or are we talking stats?
Just who do you think are the top 5?
Okay.
Players.
You want first, Darnell, or?
I'm sure I can take it. Okay. So what, we're counting down from 5 to 1?
We can do 5 to 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let me think about it here. I gotta think about it in the right order just so I can reverse it.
You guys want to hear mine first? Help?
Go for it.
Okay.
Sure.
Go for it.
5, I got Durant. 4, I got LeBron. 3, I got Anthony Davis. 2, Westbrook, and 1, Kawhi.
Wow.
So
that's.
I'm looking at part of this.
Can you repeat that list one more time?
Okay. 5, Durant.
Okay.
4, LeBron. 3, Anthony Davis. 2, Westbrook. Number 1, Kawhi.
Okay.
Anybody just looking at this list, is there anything you would switch around with this list based on mine?
I mean, it's not a crazy top 5, but it's.
You guys think I should have added Steph in here?
So I think I go. I mean, I have Durant at 5 as well. 4, I go Steph Curry. 3, I go Kawhi. 2, I go Russ, and 1, I have LeBron.
Okay.
No, the difference between my list and your guys' list is I don't have Kawhi there just yet. I would have him in my 6th spot. I guess I'll go ahead and just share my list real quick. I have Davis 5, Durant 4, Westbrook 3, Curry 2, and LeBron 1. You said you had Curry 3 or 4?
4.
4. Is that just because of his basically, like, I don't want to call it an inability, but his poorer defense? I mean, because offensively, the guy does everything you can ask for.
Yeah, poorer defense, and then just the biggest spots, he's not himself.
Yeah, and I think the reason I have him number 2 is because and I understand big moments, you need him there. Like, I really understand that, but I think it's something he'll break out of. I think he has to be able to break out of it, because if you can keep it up for 82 games, I'd almost think you have to, and I understand, like, you got to prove everybody wrong. But, I mean, LeBron went through it.
Yep.
So that's the reason I still have Curry at number 2, is because I think offensively, he's what that team needs. They don't need him for the defense. I mean, it's not like he's the worst defender out there. He's not James Harden.
No, yeah.
So I
it's a point guard driven league, though, man. I mean,
yeah.
But
I think that's my crutch for putting him number 2, is the fact that team doesn't need him for the defense. They have that piece. They have those pieces, you could say. And I think if you can pull it off, making a bazillion 3-pointers through 82 games, you can do absolutely everything offensively. He's going to lead, he'll come very close if he does not lead this team in scoring. I think he will. But, I think Curry, just the stuff he's doing offensively, for me, is too good to not have him in my top 3.
Okay. I didn't have Curry, in my list just because I understand what he can do offensively, just that defensive part. That kind of, all these guys, they could bring it offensively, and I think they're better defensive players than him. So I put them over Curry in my list. So.
Yeah, and Trey, like, I don't understand why you have Kawhi at 1. Like, I
defensively, man, the dude's a beast.
He has a complete game. He does. He really does. I can't disagree with that. Through 2 games this year, he has like 65 points and like 16 rebounds or something like that. Like, he's gone off through 2 games so far this year. And DeRozan's put down a monster slam. So we could talk about him in a minute as an up and coming player, but just for me, it's the idea that I don't know that Kawhi Leonard, why I would have him in my number 6 position is Kawhi Leonard, to me, I don't know. I think I just need to see a little more out of him. I don't know if it's because he's not a flashy player or what, but sometimes I feel like he just kind of fades into the NBA. He's like the quietest player to do it right now.
Yeah, I think part of that is due to that system.
And I wonder if that's what kind of pulls off the lackluster for me. I mean, because if you look at his position, you see someone like a LeBron, a Durant, someone who's just dominating the media through big time plays, and Kawhi Leonard's just like, hey guys, I'm putting up similar numbers, but you don't even see him doing it.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think a lot of, I guess as far as ratings go, I guess a lot of the Achilles heel for Kawhi is just he's quiet. He's amazing, but he's quiet about it, and he plays for a team where the face of that franchise is their coach.
Yeah.
So I mean, Popovich does all the talking for him, and everybody else is quiet. I mean, their last leader, I don't think he got a lot of the credit he deserved until he was basically out of the league. And then with Tim Duncan. Duncan never really talked about anything. He was boring. He was fundamental, but he was arguably the best player of his generation. I mean, it's the debate between him and Kobe, but
yeah, and I mean,
those rings speak a lot for him.
And I'll piggyback to that thought and even say David Robinson was the same way. Yeah. I mean, he was a little more vocal because he had more of an outgoing personality, but he never
was the most marketable out of all.
Yeah. I mean, he never stole the spotlight. So it's just kind of how the Spurs have always been.
Yeah. So.
But to your point though, Trey, I would say Kawhi Leonard's by far the most underrated player in the NBA.
Okay.
I agree. I don't think he gets a lot of credit that he does deserve. He's starting to get it, and he gets it in the NBA circles.
Yeah.
When you like ESPN commentary, like they love him and they won't be afraid to say it. But if you're having an everyday NBA conversation, Kawhi Leonard's not one of the first 6, 7, 8 names you hear.
Respectful.
But like I said, I think this season we'll see him start to get a lot of that. For me, what I would like to see out of Kawhi Leonard to move him up my list is I would like to see him, and I don't mean this to be like facing the media all the time, but I want to see him on the floor, intensity. Like he's shown moments, but I've seen him put down a huge shot or a big dunk and he just kind of jogs down the floor. It's kind of like, dude, show something for it. Like a little fire. Come on.
So you want a little bit more flash then?
A little bit. I mean, I think that would get him that extra notoriety. But I mean, if you see him, he's always got a stone face on him.
It would, but I mean,
doesn't crack a smile.
Some people don't have that. It's not a part of their personality.
Yeah, you're right. But and I think, to my point, he's kind of always been that underrated player. San Diego State University. Yeah. He's kind of always been that under the radar guy. And I think he likes it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, it keeps him out of the spotlight. I mean, he's probably one of the few players in the NBA that can go out to a mall himself and not get swarmed. That's at that level of talent.
Yeah. So, hey, we all got different perspectives, so it's all good, man. Any other things you guys would like to add real quick before we move on? That's about the NBA.
well, with both of you guys, I know you both had Davis and yours.
This was kind of hard for me, to be honest, Darnell. I think with this one, I think this year he's going to get over those little injury hump that he's been doing. So this was tough. Part of me was saying, put Curry in here and take Davis out. But I think this year, he's finally going to get over that injury hump.
Well, yeah, because that one I questioned for a couple reasons. You brought up the first part. Yeah, the injury proneness. On top of he's on a bad team, which I can look past. Yeah. But he's not on the court to uplift that bad team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's just like that. That gives two strikes. I can't put you in my top 5 if you're not on the court making something happen for a team that's like this, that needs you so much. You're always missing half the season.
Yeah, like I said, this was tough for me because, with that, with those injuries, he's missing on a chance to go to the playoffs, to get playoff experience and whatnot, and see what pieces he needs around him that the organization can make to bring those pieces in and help them pursue a championship. But I was looking at it, I think this was kind of a faith-based move for me. I think he's finally going to overcome the injuries and whatnot for this year. So that's why I put him in. But I could definitely see somebody putting Curry in over him. So that's why I picked it. This was kind of a faith-based move for me. That's why.
Yeah, that's why I have him at my number 5. But I think the reason I put him in there is because it seems like when he is on the floor, he shows you everything you want to see in a top tier player.
Yeah.
Sure.
He gets you the points. He gets you the rebounds, the blocks. The unfortunate thing is, like you said, he almost spends more time off the floor than he does on the floor. But for me, I don't really know anybody else that puts up his type of production when they are on the floor. And especially when he does have these injuries, it's like he comes back from the injury and almost doesn't skip a beat.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he's a freak of nature, and his potential to be like he has number 1 talent. So I think I'm not trying to just throw complete shade.
Yeah. I mean,
I think potentially just looking at his talent, I think he can go down as possibly the greatest power, one of the greatest bigs of all time. So
yeah,
he has the talent. It's
and
just
potential for that. Yeah, but it's just he doesn't have the resume for me to put him in a top 5 position.
Yeah,
he's definitely got the potential, but everybody else that I put up there, they've shown and proved something.
Yeah.
Maybe he made it to finals or won championships, and have done it in like all-star fashion, getting there.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't put him with that group.
Okay, here, just a quick question, and since we need to move on, I just want to name from both of you one player you would like to see in your top 5 that is not there. My name would be Damian Lillard. I just think the guy's a stud.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
I could roll with that. Mine, James Harden, if he just played a little bit of defense.
Yeah.
He'd be there. He's probably, just off of his offensive ability and scoring ability, he's probably still in that 5 or 6 range. Like him and Davis are right there with each other. Like if he just stood in front of people, I think he can make his way there.
Yeah. For me, I didn't have Curry, so Curry I like to see a little bit defensively for defensive plays from him this year. And plus, if he makes it to the finals, I want to see him step up and show people that, all this flash and stuff that I was doing in the regular season, y'all going to see the same stuff in the finals too. I want him to show up in the finals. But 2, again, with Darnell, James Harden. I think he's in a good position to truly show off his talents. Last week I had him my favorite to get the MVP, but as your leader, the team, your players around you are going to step up how you step up. All you're focused on is offense. and you're not bringing trying to help defensively. The role players around you. Why should we focus on that? So I would love to see him, get better defensively. Actually, try harder to guard the people that's in front of him. It doesn't matter if you can go score on offense. And, the person that's your guard and you don't even try to defend them, they can easily put up points just like you did. It truly doesn't matter. So, all right, about to get ready to go to the NCAA, talk about football. What were your guys' thoughts on Ohio State's loss last week?
Shocking. I think over the last couple of weeks, we've seen Ohio State not necessarily take steps backwards because they were still winning, but they were kind of plateauing a little bit, letting some teams hang around. Now, granted, the game against Wisconsin, that was a top 10 matchup. Wisconsin proved they're for real team. Just fell short against Ohio State, but Penn State, a classic trap game for a lot of Big Ten teams going in to Penn State, Beaver Stadium, 100,000 plus people in a whiteout at night. That's a tough environment. I don't care who you are. That's a tough place to go and win at night when the lights come on. So, Penn State just played a good game, caught Ohio State not at their best, and definitely took advantage of it.
Do you guys think they should have? Oh, go ahead, Darnell.
Oh no, just to build on what Ty said, I was definitely surprised by it. Ohio State, they've been basically a slow starter this year. They've let a lot of teams hang on for like a quarter or two, and then they go on and blow them out. I was expecting that, but it never happened. Penn State just kept playing good defense with them and kept that scoring low enough, and they went ahead and took care of business. And, definitely a surprising win.
Yeah. Now, do you guys think they should have dropped further down in the rankings, or you think that was a good enough drop for them?
Go ahead.
I think it was a pretty fair drop for them. I mean, they have won the big games that were on their schedule. They beat Oklahoma when they were on the schedule. They beat Wisconsin. So I mean, that's at the time that's two big top 10 wins on their schedule. So in a close loss to an improving Penn State team. So I think it was, and they didn't get like blown out or something, even though it was a surprising loss. So I think it was okay just to drop them down to 6.
Yeah, I agree. I said it last week. Good wins cover bad losses. I think you see more out of a team during a good win than you do a bad loss. I think Ohio State just kind of fell asleep at the wheel here. Nothing more than that. Just got caught at a bad time. Granted, still a loss. I think nobody would argue that they're still a top 5 team in the country when it's all said and done. But, it's a big loss. I told a couple of my friends, this is big for, my Michigan team in the big picture, because one more loss, and as long as Michigan plays them undefeated, they'll be in the Big Ten championship. So, I'm hoping for another Ohio State loss, but I'm not going to bank on it because I know they're a really good team. Urban Meyer's going to get them ready this week against Northwestern, and I expect them to take care of business.
All righty. Now, what are you guys' key games that you're going to watch this week?
Well, I think one doesn't need to be said.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit.
All right. But I think the big one, there's a couple big ones this week, because the last time I said the big one, I didn't name the big one. So, the one I'm intrigued in, because, we're in the Big Ten country, is Wisconsin versus Nebraska. This will be the time to see one. Is Wisconsin the real deal? Because if they lose this one, I think we may have misjudged it a little bit. We have all said we don't think Nebraska's as good as their record shows. But, hey, maybe it's just their year. Maybe it's their year to run the table on that side of the conference, kind of pull an Iowa and get to the Big Ten championship game. But I think that game's going to be highly anticipated. I think a lot of people are going to tune into that one. And I think a lot of people are going to be pulling for Wisconsin to do the upset.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's actually the marquee game of the weekend.
Okay.
7 versus 11. I know.
Yeah.
Big Ten football still has a little bit of stigma on it, but I mean, this is a heavyweight fight here, and I think people still do think Wisconsin's a very solid team. I mean, they've had 2 losses to 2 top 5 teams right now, so I don't think anybody's calling them a bad team. I think this is where we see it. If Nebraska is really deserving of this top 10 rank.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
If they do business and beat Wisconsin, we do learn that Wisconsin's on that second tier of the Big Ten, but which I think we learned that anyway since they lost to Ohio State and Michigan. But we also learn is if Nebraska can be considered with that upper tier. Nebraska's been basically a disappointment so far since they've come to the Big Ten. They haven't made the waves and done what people expected of them. This wasn't the Cornhuskers of the early to mid 90s that was winning national championships. They were kind of a team that you had to prepare for, but nobody expected them to really be dangerous come late in the season. They're showing that they may have finally put a team together that can do that. So I'm very interested in this to see, because before the season started, everybody was just going, okay, Big Ten championship is coming out of the West, and we'll out of the East. I mean, and we'll see whatever happens on the other side. Who's that lamb led to slaughter? If Nebraska can look good versus Wisconsin, they can kind of use that as a measuring stick to see how they possibly compare to Michigan and Ohio State.
Yeah, and then I think we can all agree the other game, not necessarily the same effect, but I think if you're in the ACC country, you're looking at Clemson, Florida State. I think that game's still going to be very highly anticipated. I'm definitely going to be flipping between the two. I think this is going to be a game where Florida State's going to be hungry. They need Clemson to lose. So what's a better time to have them lose than against you when you need a win? So I think this game, Sean Watson will need to be big. Florida State's going to come ready. They're gonna want this one real bad. I think this game's going to be very physical. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of scoring though. Both offenses have proven they can score the ball. So are we going to see a sluggish Clemson team that we've seen the majority of the year, or are they going to come out and handle business like they should and win the game? I mean, I think that'll be the story, because if they win, is it going to be, did they handle it or were they sluggish?
All right, now let's get to both your guys' teams. This UM versus Michigan State game. What are your thoughts on this rivalry coming up tomorrow?
Every game's a big one. They all matter. When it's the old saying, when it comes to a rivalry, records are out the window. And as much as I like talking about, Michigan is a huge advantage, Michigan State's 2-5 in a row, all this and that. In reality, both teams want this one real bad. Michigan wants it because they feel that the game was stolen from them last year. They want to keep their playoff hope alive. Losing this one would be deemed a bad loss. So basically, Michigan's playing for their record, for their pride, for their reputation, their national ranking. And a lot of times when all the team's doing is playing to spoil, they come out with a pretty good game. Penn State proved it. They spoiled Ohio State's weekend. So anything can happen. It's just both teams, I think, will come out aggressive. I think we're gonna be up for an exciting 4 quarters. Hopefully at least an exciting half. I mean, as much as I'd love for a blowout, as much as I would love it, I don't see it happening super fast. So, but it's a rivalry game. You always look forward to it, no matter what. So, it'll be a fun day.
Yeah. I mean, I come into this. I'm being honest about this game here. This game is probably just, I would assume, in the Michigan State locker room, they're looking at this as like this is one of the last things they have to play for right now. The season is a disappointment. That's about all you can call it right now. There's no way to shine this turd that they've put out through 7 games. So I just think the thought process is now let's see if we can get a couple bright spots in this. Let's see if we can maybe play spoiler against the game that is usually circled. It's not looking like it'll happen. I don't think anybody is picking with confidence that Michigan State is going to win this, but they showed some small signs of fixing some things last week. They actually did an okay job run blocking last week. That was a good thing. Michigan's on another level defensively though, so we'll see how that transfers into this game. But I do assume they're at home. They don't want to get embarrassed on their home field, so I think they'll come out intense. They're going to be focused. They would like to see if they can, if you feel a little bit better if you can ruin your rival season and make sure they don't get to the playoffs, because I think a loss to Michigan State basically would put Michigan out of the playoff hunt. So I think that's basically what the goal is here. They're probably throwing a lot of their eggs in this basket to see what they can do. A lot of emotion is going to be put into this game. We'll see if it just turns into too much talent against not enough. I think we'll see that soon enough in the game, or maybe later you see that depth becomes a factor. But I think that's basically how we're looking at it in East Lansing right now.
Now, what will be the key to your squad's victory this game?
Yep. For Michigan, I think what they need to do is just keep focused, keep their heads on straight. Don't try to do anything out of character. They've scored over 40 points in every game except the Wisconsin game. So really stick with what you've been doing. This one's real cliche. Just protect the football. The last thing Michigan wants to do is turn it over in their own territory. Allow for some easy points for Michigan State. Let them gain a little momentum at home. And I'm even talking a couple early field goals. I feel like if Michigan State's getting on the board, that just rolls a little bit of momentum, especially off of turnovers. So, if Michigan can run the ball effectively, protect the ball, and just do what they've been doing all year, I really like the chance.
Yeah, I mean, I think Michigan State has to shorten the game up, so they have to hope that they can run the ball. I think their best thing that they can hope for to try to stay close and have a shot to win this is ball control. So, making things work in the running game so they can control the time of possession. And on defense, they have to find a way to get to Spade. That's been the Achilles heel. They haven't been able to pass rush, and third down is going to be the biggest issue for the defense. They haven't been able to get off the field. If they can get Michigan in third and long situations, they have to figure out how to keep them from getting those first downs. If they can do that, they may have a shot. Team does still have some talent on it. Might have been over evaluated going through the off season, or or just something's not connecting with the team, especially on the defensive side. But I think those are the key factors. They have to find a way to get to the quarterback, and they have to get off the field.
Yeah, I had that conversation with my dad a couple weeks ago. I told him Michigan State doesn't beat you by obviously they outscore you when they win, but they don't beat you by scoring a ton of points. They don't beat you by absolutely killing your game plan. They beat you because they'll control the ball for 30 or 40 plus minutes of the game. Mm-hmm. They run the ball effectively when they win. Their offensive line succeeds when they win. It's all about ball control for them, and I'll agree with that point, because I mean, if you look at Michigan State's if you look at a normal team for them, like look at last year's team or the year before that, if you look at all their games, just look at the time of possession, they're winning that by 10 plus minutes. Mm-hmm. Like that's a good recipe to win the game. So I agree with that point, and that's the point I would have made if I were on your side of the stadium here.
Yeah.
All right, guys. You guys ready for the pick'ems?
Yep.
All right. Darnell, he's ahead 19 out of 28, and me and Ty, we are tied for 17 out of 28. First game, let's get to it. Michigan versus Michigan State.
Give me Michigan.
All right.
Just because I can't fix my mouth to say it, give me State.
It makes it a little more fun, too.
Okay. I'm going to go with Michigan in this.
Hey, Darnell at least has one game to give. He's got a 2-game lead.
All right. Hey, man, never count out those rivalries, so we'll see.
Yeah.
We saw what happened last year.
Yep.
Up next, we have Nebraska versus Wisconsin. Wisconsin, they have a -8 lead in the spread.
Give me Nebraska. I don't know. Just it seems like every year one team finds a way to do it. Last year was, Michigan State found a way to do it quite often. Iowa found a way to do it. So give me Nebraska.
All right.
This one's tough for me, just because I still don't quite trust Nebraska. And Wisconsin's looked good except for against 2 elite teams. I guess Nebraska's going to have to prove me wrong. I'm going to take Wisconsin. Close game, but I'm going to take Wisconsin 27-24.
Yeah. And for the record, it's not like I trust Nebraska either. I'm just saying they're finding a way to get it done, so I'll take them.
All right. Up next, we have Auburn.
Trick, who you picking?
I got Wisconsin.
Okay.
Wisconsin in this one as well. They get home, I think they're going to be able to pull it off against Nebraska. So, okay. Up next, we have Auburn versus Ole Miss.
I publicly said it on Twitter. I'm done picking Ole Miss. Give me Auburn.
Yeah, I got the Tigers too in this one. Got them.
You gonna give us another War Eagle?
31-28. Huh?
Are you gonna give us another War Eagle?
A what?
Another War Eagle.
No.
Once was enough.
You get one.
Oh, man. I'm going to go with Auburn as well, man. We're going to see Bad Kelly. It's really been Bad Kelly this whole season. But I'm going to go with Auburn. Up next, we have Washington versus Utah. Who do you guys have?
Yeah, I think Washington's for real. So I think they're poisoning themselves for the Pac-12 championship game and a shot at the playoffs. So I'll stick with Washington, like what Coach Peterson's doing up there. He's got that ship righted, and I think they'll control this one. Utah's running back, I believe, is coming off a huge week, but I'll still stick with Washington. Good offense, good defense. I'll pick them by at least a couple scores. I'll take them 35-17.
I'm going to go with the Huskies too. They've impressed me probably more than just about any team this year.
Oh yeah.
So Utah 7-1 coming in the game. They're a solid team, but I think Washington should win this going away. So I will go with Washington 31-20.
Okay. I'm going to go with Washington as well. I think they're going to win by 10, by at least 10. So, yeah, I have them winning 30-20. Last but not least, Clemson versus Florida State. Who do you guys got? Clemson, they have a minus 4.5 lead for the spread.
Yeah, I'll take Clemson. I think they'll rise to the occasion like they did against Louisville. Play a pretty good game. Score the ball. Deshaun Watson will look pretty good. Big lights, big stage. That appears to be when he likes to show up the most. So I'll take the Clemson Tigers.
Yeah, I'm taking Clemson too in a shootout. I think Deshaun Watson has one of those games to say, I'm back, look at me, I'm a lead again. And but I think Florida State will be game for this one. It's a big game for them.
Yeah.
But I think it's more of a shootout type game. So Clemson 41-37.
Alrighty. I have Florida State winning this one. I think, they're at home. I think it's going to be the time for them to shine. Clemson, they have been in some battles this year. They've won some close games. I just think it's finally going to get to them with that tough Florida State crowd. I think Florida State's going to bring it, so I think it's going to be a close one. I have Florida State winning 38-35. All right, guys, anything left to add for the NCAA?
Nope.
All right. Up next, we're about to get into the NFL. First and foremost, what were your thoughts on that ugly Seattle versus Arizona game?
Kickers are valued. I think we kind of got what we expected. Two of the better defenses in the NFL played phenomenal games. Neither team let the other really gain any momentum offensively. Carson Palmer having a down year, but the Seattle defense still shutting him down. David Johnson doing all of his work in between the 20s. Still had a pretty good game too. And then in terms of the Seattle offense, they just couldn't really get much going. They were forced, that defense was forced to get the better of the Arizona offense when Arizona would start in their half of the field. So really, the Seattle defense played Super Bowl caliber defense. Just the offense isn't there for that team right now. Jimmy Graham's starting to really find himself in that offense, but Christy Michael doing the same, but they just couldn't get anything going. And it really, the game almost got to a point where it was hard to watch because the offenses literally couldn't do anything because the defenses were playing that good. And I think that just shows how spoiled we are as NFL fans with a lot of really the great offenses we have in the NFL, that when we see a good defense, we think it's a boring game.
Yeah.
So really, for all intents and purposes, it was a really good game. It was enjoyable if you got over the fact that neither team was going to do anything offensively. But, when we got to overtime, in those final couple minutes, that was just ugly. I mean, missing 20-yarders, 25-yarders.
Yeah.
Those are chip shots.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the issue is there. Yeah, for the first 4 quarters, it was that defensive battle. But overtime, it turned into a debacle where it's just like, these are supposed to be the best players on the planet right now, and you're missing 20-yard field goals.
Hey, Randy Moss made them in some dress shoes and everything.
Yeah.
So it's like, so that's where it was like, come on, and I mean, yes, it was, like I said, the first 4 quarters was the defense is going at it, bending but not breaking, and doing their best to give their offenses a chance. But this was one of those games where you were like, this is why the NFL's TV ratings are dropping right here. It just, like, it seems to just be a going trend with the NFL having bad luck in their primetime games.
Yeah.
They're not getting the ones that will be dramatic for the casual fan.
Yeah.
Like, with us three watching, we'll watch a game like this. I mean, it's not NFL, but Trey, you'll remember back. I loved that 9-6 LSU Alabama game.
Yeah.
4 years ago. Like, I just thought it was two teams that were just that good going at it. But just if you're that casual fan that just wants to see a football game and see some action, and you turn on the TV, those people were changing the channel.
Yeah.
That game. It was just like, okay, well, I'm not seeing the ball flying. I'm not seeing those long touchdown passes. I'm not seeing, I mean, David Johnson did his best, but hey, no touchdowns. I'm changing.
Yeah.
And I think that game was a big example of that. And the cherry on top, like I said, was overtime just looking like a high school game once I got there.
Maybe worse.
Yeah. Now, they did go into overtime. This game did end in a tie. You guys think the NFL should still make efforts to improve their overtime rules and everything? And if so, what should they do?
Use the college rules, but just push the teams back. I don't get why people don't like that.
So, where would you have them start? Like midfield? Like,
start at 40 or 50 or something like that, just because they're an NFL team. So, and the kickers have a lot more leg for basically every team. Not that game, of course, but it's the NFL, so everybody's a little bit better. So yeah, I think sudden death is just stupid anyway. Is people complain when somebody says it's unfair, but just because, okay, if you can get a stop on your first drive, or if you score on your first drive, we'll let the other team have a chance. No, just even it up. You get it at the 50. If you score, they get it at the 50. If they don't score, game over. If you keep going back and forth, I think that's more entertaining. I think that will drive up ratings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would not have a problem seeing them change it. Kind of like you said, I find it kind of ridiculous that, like, if you score a touchdown, it's over, but if you score a field goal, then the other team gets a chance. Yeah. I mean, it's almost like a technicality. It's like if you're good enough to score a touchdown, then, okay, you win the game, but if you're not, then make a field goal and hope the other team doesn't come down and score a touchdown. It's like, either the first team to score wins or they don't. Like, make the rule. Don't give technicalities. I mean, in reality, even if they made it, if you make a field goal, you win. If you score at all, you win. It's like, okay, that's fine by me, because at least, it's not, okay, you have to do this or the other team gets a shot. It's like, either give both teams a shot or don't.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to have it both ways.
Yeah. Like, so no. like I would be cool with one or the other. I'm not cool with having this scenario scoring going on, but like you said, I would be cool with driving them back to the 50 and go. Like, both teams get one chance. If you both score the same, then you keep moving. Like, I'm cool with that. But my other opinion, which counters this, is somebody should have won that game. That game should not have ended in a tie.
Yeah.
So really, the overtime, it works. We've had 2 ties in the last since this overtime format has been implemented. So 2 ties out of how many games that have gone to overtime, it's kind of like it works because you don't get a lot of ties. So,
and remember, one of those 2 ties, the quarterback for one of the teams didn't know you could tie in a football game.
That is true. So I mean, I see both sides. I don't like, and I like how you phrased it, having it both ways. I don't like that. So I'd prefer to see one or the other. But in fairness to the NFL, somebody should have won that game.
Yeah. Definitely agree with that. All right, guys. Last but not least, watching TV one day, I was specifically looking at the MLB, looking at Cleveland Indians, just looking at the success of the Cavaliers. Looking at the Indians game, I was like, okay, this city has the potential to be named like the best city in sports right now. Then I thought about it, I was like, okay, but they have the Cleveland Browns. Just looking at this team, do you guys think they're going to win a game this year? They're 0-7 right now. Just your final thoughts.
Go ahead.
The Browns. Like, you almost feel bad for them with all the good that's going on in Cleveland. The Browns are still the Browns. Yeah. They're on their 5th quarterback now? 4th?
I think it's more than that.
Either way, it's bad, man.
It's 4th or 5th quarterback. I mean, I know Terrell Pryor's been in there, and now they're down to Kevin Hogan, who played well, but, Browns are the Browns. They still lost. But, oh, God, like, the Cubs are even in the World Series this year. So it's like, are you guys going to win a game? It's like I said, I'm not usually like I empathize with people. I don't empathize with sports teams and franchises, but like I actually feel bad for them right now. It's just like it's like you're in a family and like one brother's a doctor, one is a lawyer, and you're homeless on the side of the street asking for change. That's what the Browns are right now.
Yep. The other
you got a UFC heavyweight champion, so you got your cousin over there that's a real estate broker that's doing well. But
the other analogy being the ugly girl at prom standing on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is almost a better question. Will they win another game before they have to start another quarterback than the one they're starting this week?
Oh,
God. Like, when you have to start asking questions like that, I think your odds are they're not going to win a game. I mean, okay, but let's be serious. They'll probably pull one off late in the year against a team that's also way out of it, that's trying to save their franchise players. And the Browns just go, oh, well, we're going to throw everything at them this week.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they win one, but I wouldn't give them more than that.
I can agree with that.
I can't say for sure they'll win one.
It's hard to say they're going to win one. It really is.
Yeah. It's been bad for them guys.
Well, and it's the fact that, like, they struggled to score the ball. They struggled to stop people from scoring the ball. Like, they make average teams look good. The thing is they have talent all over that field. It's like Isaiah Crowell's having a good year. Terrell Pryor's having a good year. They have, what's the name of their offensive line? Joe Thomas?
Joe Thomas, yeah. You have a top 5 left tackle. You got
Joe Aiden,
got a top 10 cornerback.
It's like this team has talent. They just, I don't know if they just don't know how to develop it, produce it.
This team has talent, but they're the Browns. That's about all.
Yeah. I have said it before. I just believe some franchises are cursed. Some franchises are just losers, and they're one of them. Unfortunately, the Lions are one of them too for me. So it's not like I'm just trying to put shade all over them, but some people are losers, and that's the Cleveland Browns.
But usually one of the things you can say if you're a Lions fan is, at least we're not the Browns.
Yeah, at least we won. At least we have a winning record right now.
Yeah. I mean, there was that one year where the Browns could say, at least we won a game.
Yeah.
But,
we got Matthew Stafford out of that, so.
Yeah, man. It's tough for him, man. What can you say? For sure. But all right, guys. You guys ready for the NFL picks? You said what, Darnell?
I was just saying, everything is going right in that city, but
Browns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, you guys ready to close it out with pickles?
Let's do it.
All right. First and foremost, y'all know the deal. Detroit. The Lions versus the Texans.
Hey, say what the scores are, the rankings.
Oh, here this guy go. All right, number one, we got Darnell, 14th out of 29. Second, we're tied. Me and Tyler, we were tied 13 for 29. But I'm going to be number one. Okay, so first we have Detroit at Houston. Houston has a -2.5 lead for the spread. Who do you guys have?
I will go with the Detroit Lions because that 2.5 spread has to be because of that defense. Because it's definitely not because of Brock Osweiler.
I don't care if they're the Steelers, because of their offense. How are they favored?
Yeah.
Especially after how they recently have looked with, like you mentioned, Brock Osweiler. How are they favored in this game?
Mr. $72 million.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'd find myself picking the Leos in this one too, since all of a sudden Matt Stafford has turned into Joe Montana.
Yeah, greatest quarterback in the league, man.
Jim Bob Cooter.
Yeah. And Cooter we trust. Yeah. Take that however you want.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to go with Detroit too. I think they're going to pull it off. That Houston offense is not hot right now, so I think Detroit, they'll find a way to pull it off.
And also with Lamar Miller potentially being out, that could be a benefit for Detroit. Alfred Blue, still a good running back, but still not Lamar Miller.
Yeah. Up next, we have Philly versus Dallas. Dallas, they have a -4 lead for the spread.
I'll take Dallas on this one. I'm gonna take Darnell's team. I mean, he picked mine, so it's only fair I pick his, right?
Yeah.
No, but seriously, Zeke Elliott, stud. I believe he's leading all running backs in rushing yards, if I'm not mistaken. And then Dak Prescott just doing his thing, finding Mr. Cole Beasley out there. So give me the Cowboys.
All right.
Yeah, I'm rolling with the Cowboys as well. I think it's an NFC East matchup, so tensions will be high on this one. Both teams will be coming out firing, and match up a first round rookie quarterback, getting all money versus the 4th round shocker.
Yeah.
So I think Dak comes out, he has something to prove. Dez Bryant's supposed to be back and finally fully healthy, so Cowboys should have their full complement on offense. You got Jason Witten looking to set a tight end record. So, I'm going to roll with Dallas in this. I think they're rolling. They have things going their way.
This one was tough for me. I'm going to go with Philly in this one. I do understand the Cowboys are clicking with Prescott and Elliott. However,
I hate Darnell's teams.
Yeah. Possibly, under Jason Garrett, at home, they are 1-5 against Philly. So I'm going to go with Philly. I'm going to look at those, and I think Philly is going to pull it off. So I'm going with Philly.
Look at that stat pulling out right there. Okay.
All right. Up next, we have Green Bay versus ATL. Who do you guys have? Atlanta, they have a -3 lead for spread.
Yeah, Green Bay kind of had an interesting week last week. I mean, they were clicking on offense, but it wasn't Jordy Nelson. So that was a little surprising. So is Jordy going to get more involved this week? I don't know. It's going to be tough to tell. What's going to happen with that run game? Is it going to be Niall Davis, who they signed last week? Is it going to be Ty Montgomery again? Just a lot of what ifs going on right now with that Green Bay squad. Was that just kind of a 1-week performance out of Aaron Rodgers? Is it what we're going to see out of him for the rest of the year? I'm actually going to pick Green Bay. I think they figured some things out last week, and if they can get Jordy Nelson involved in what they did last week, that'll only make them better. I do like Atlanta, though. I think Atlanta's going to be able to move the ball. Looks like Tevin Coleman won't be playing this week, so no question as to what's going to happen with the run game. It's going to be Freeman a lot. I expect him to be more effective in the passing game, though, but I'm still going to go with Green Bay.
All right. Yeah. First off, let me say thanks, Green Bay, for killing my fantasy team by not throwing the ball to Jordy Nelson last week. Yeah, totally appreciate that. But I am still going to pick them. I think this matchup kind of plays well for Green Bay, especially with Tevin Coleman being hurt with a hamstring injury. Atlanta said they're probably just going to give him a break, which means Freeman gets most of the work. One running back to focus on. Green Bay has a monster. They're good at run stop. Yeah. Outside of the game against Dallas, I don't think they've allowed a 100-yard rusher. So I think this one plays more into their wheelhouse. They can try to make Atlanta one-dimensional. Julio Jones will probably get his, but as long as they can make sure that's the only receiver that goes off on them, I think that plays well. Aaron Rodgers seems to be figuring things out for himself. He's looking a little better. He's been having probably one of his worst statistical seasons he's had up until last week. So I think they keep that rolling, and Green Bay pulls out a victory here.
And the Atlanta defense is quite poor.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Atlanta on this one. I just think, I understand what you guys are saying with Green Bay. Just going to trust that they're at home. And I think Ryan, he's going to find a way to move the chains with passing the ball. So I think he's going to be able to air it out against Green Bay. I just think he's going to have a good time moving the chains against Green Bay through there. So I think got Atlanta in this one. And up next we have New England at Buffalo.
Yeah, I'll take New England big.
Big? Okay.
Looks like McCoy won't play, so the best player on their offense is going to be out. Yeah. And Brady's back. He's done nothing but looked great since coming back. And Belichick just knows how to chew up division opponents. So I'm going to go with New England on this one.
Yeah, I'm going with New England as well. Buffalo will probably play him a little tough early. Like I said, due to who their coach is, that's a game that's always circled. And Rex Ryan always has a intricate defensive game plan for the Patriots to try to confuse Tom Brady, confuse Bill Belichick. But I just think talent-wise, New England just has too much for them. So they win this one. Pull away late. And they take it.
All right. Yeah, I think New England has this one as well. I'm going with New England. Buffalo did beat them earlier this year, but, they were experienced with the quarterbacks, even though they were doing pretty good. So I think Brady, I'm going to trust Brady and Belichick in this one to pull it off. So got to go with New England. And last but not least, we have Kansas City versus the Colts. Who do you guys have?
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Colts on this one. I don't know. Kansas City struggled with the pass a little bit this year, and if there's one thing that Indy does well, it is pass the ball. Looks like they have Dante Moncrief back this week, so that'll really help Andrew Luck, give him a better number 2 option behind T.Y. Hilton. Frank Gore's played well as of late. The defense for Indianapolis has picked it up. They're still not great by any stretch of the imagination, but they're starting to do better than the 4 touchdowns they gave up against Detroit week 1. So I'm going to take Indy on this one.
All right. Well, this is the one where we part ways. I'm with Kansas City here.
Check down.
Yep, I'm going with safe to win this one. Going back to the preseason preview, I said this was a season where Andrew Luck kind of had to step up and show and prove, kind of put the team on his back to earn the praise he's been getting. You look at this team's record and some of the teams they have lost to, I don't think he's earned that yet. Yeah. He's still, I think, trying to arm some passes that he shouldn't be making where there's better options. And I think that continues this week. The team tried to play up, and they did better offensively last week. Still didn't get the outcome they wanted, but I think Kansas City's just a more disciplined team and they take it down.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Kansas City as well. You know, I think they're more disciplined, like you said, Darnell. Like I said before, they're a boring team, but they get the job done. So they're gonna find a way to just go get on the field and win against Indianapolis. You know, like you kind of said too, Darnell, Indy has lost some games this year where I believe they should have won. So I think Kansas City, they're going to come in there just with full gears going, just go out there and find a way to win. So I'm going to go with Kansas City. All right, guys.
So I'm the only one taking the good luck Andrew Luck beard?
Yep.
All right. It's cool.
All right, man. Do you guys have any final thoughts? You know, what NFL, NCAA, NBA? Got anything left to say about the Cleveland Browns, or you know what?
No. On that, I'm gonna say no.
I think we took big enough dumps on Cleveland for this show. I hope my school doesn't make me drink myself into oblivion on Saturday.
It's like I said, man, it's a rivalry game, man. Anything can happen. So it's, you know, a lot of people, you know, they got a minus, Michigan has a minus 24.5 lead from spread, but you know, they call them rivalries for a reason, man. Anything can happen.
That is true.
All right, guys, as always.
No, it's not.
Yeah. All right, guys, as always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. You can find us on Twitter at DKM_cast. You can also find the show many outlets, YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. Just hit up that search box. Don't Kill the Messengers podcast. We should pop up. So, also real quick, I want to give a shout out to my cousin, Derek. If you guys are interested in cars, he has a YouTube channel called The Black Scat Pack. I would advise y'all to check it out if y'all like cars. So, but as always, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Y'all take care and have a good one. Peace.
And he got on y'all too for picking against LSU last week too.
Oh, for real?
And that's when I publicly said I will never pick Ole Miss again.
Yeah, man. What's his name? Yeah, Chad Kelly, dude. I don't think he's mentally just not into it, man. That dude's too busy tweeting porn stars and stuff, man. So
watch him get some NFL GM fired next year because he has so many tools where somebody is going to be like, we can't mess with this kid. He has an arm, he can run.
You know who it's going to be? The Browns.
Right.
Oh God!
Probably so.
They'll take him number 1 overall.
Oh man, that would be a good one.
They'll see something in him at the combine.
Yeah. I definitely see that. He's that quarterback that's going to get somebody fired.
Hey, if the Browns would take Johnny Manziel, why would they not take Chad Kelly?
Sure.
I look at Chad Kelly. I just see Jay Cutler. Somebody with every tool, but just will never put it together.
At least Cutler has a missile of an arm, though.
Chad Kelly's is not bad. You can make pretty much any NFL throw you want.
That's true.
Cutler does have a cannon, but I mean,
he's just not there.
Yeah.